This is my grandma Cara Petrucci, and I'm going to be interviewing her about her parents. So, what would you say is your earliest memory of your dad?
Probably I can recall back to kindergarten, seriously.
Yeah.
And that's a long, long time ago. But I can remember growing up in a big family and one of 8, the youngest of 8, and had a wonderful childhood. My brother Gerald was the oldest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was, and he lived, I think, to be about 81, if I'm not mistaken. And they're all gone. I have one sister-in-law left, and I am the only sibling left. But I'll tell you about my mom. She really had a good heart, and she was so good to people that had less than her. And we didn't have much, but we had a poor family that lived on our block, and my mother always brought a tray down for a holiday of food for them because they were so poor, and she just was so good to them. And so, I've seen that side of my mother, and I thought, and not only that, she was so good to us, Cole, because if she got $5 for a gift, she'd buy us a pair of shoes or whatever we needed for school. She just very, very clean, very organized all the time with everything, and she was always on top of it all. She was very involved in PTA at school because naturally she had a kid in grade school almost every other year. So she was very, very involved in that.
So your mom was a homemaker, but she was a really good cook?
Well, she was a wonderful cook, my mother was, and she could bake anything. I swear, I don't know, they just knew how. I'll tell you what she made. She made her own homemade noodles and stewing chicken. Oh, it was the best. I could taste it now, it was so good. But she would dry them out, so she'd lay a sheet on the bed and dry all the noodles out. It was a lot of work, because I tried doing it one time. It was a lot of work.
A bunch of hours?
Yes, a bunch of time. You had to do that. She was musically inclined. She played piano all the time, by ear, never read a note of music. But she made our home so pleasant. We weren't spoiled. We didn't have money like other folks might have had. But we didn't know we didn't have money. We thought that we were wealthy because we had so much happiness. When my mother passed, she was 85, and she had 24 grand and 19 great at that time. Now my niece keeps up with the family tree, and there are over 100 in our family now. Great nieces, great nephews, and it goes on and on, with in-laws and all. And it's unbelievable that one mother could have done all that.
How old were your mom and dad when they got married? Do you remember?
Well, my mother was, let me see, I think my mom had been maybe 31 at the time, and my dad was 27. They were 4 years apart in age. It was his second marriage for my mother, but his first.
What would your dad do?
My father, he worked for he was an engineer on the B&O Railroad. That was Baltimore and Ohio at the time, and he was an engineer.
How many years did he do that for?
He did that 21 years, and then he drove for a place called Commercial Carriers, and he drove the big he carried all the trucks, the cars he carried from.
Oh, right.
Yes, he'd bring from Detroit all the new cars to the dealerships.
Where did he grow up at? Do you remember?
My dad grew up, he was born in Omaha, Nebraska, and they moved to California from there. And anyway, back then, of course, being from a different state, it was difficult to get a job. So then they moved back and they settled in Chicago.
Do you remember when they both died, like what day?
Oh yes, my mother died on September 17th in 1982, I believe. And my father was May 6th, 1960. No, 57. A month before I graduated, my father passed away.